July the 15th, 2016. 22:05 hours. Warplanes started flying low over Ankara, piercing the silence of the night and terrifying the people. At about the same time in Istanbul, a faction from the military blocked off the Bosphorus Bridge and tanks rolled on Istanbul's Atatürk Airport. Cast to the public as military training, this development was the first sign of a coup attempt against the government, which came to power in the 2015 elections on November the 1st with a vote percentage of 49.41. 22:10 hours. Police and soldiers confronted across the nation in front of many government buildings. Heavy machine gun fire was opened from helicopter gunships on the Central Intelligence and the General Staff Headquarters. The putschists carried out a bomb attack on the Special Operations Headquarters in Gölbaşı in Ankara, killing many of its members. These attacks were aimed at the destruction of these two pivotally important establishments. To foil the coup attempt. Meanwhile, reports of powerful explosions and gunfire in Ankara and Istanbul being heard dominated the social media. 23:10 hours. Prime Minister Binali Yıldırım described the incidents as an uprising.
Doğrusu bir kalkışma ihtimali üzerinde duruyoruz. Belli ki emir komuta zinciri olmadan asker içerisindeki bazı kişilerin kanunsuz bir eylemi söz konusu.
Saying it was a bid to seize power by a faction of soldiers in the military. All parties represented in parliament strongly condemned the coup attempt.
Hepimiz tek vücut olarak demokrasinin yanındayız. Böyle maceraperestlere, böyle külhan beylerine, böyle Türkiye'nin bağrına bilmeden diyeyim gene de hançer sokmak isteyenlere müsaade etmeyeceğiz, müsamaha etmeyeceğiz ve asla ve kata demokrasiden vazgeçmeyeceğiz.
July the 16th, 2016. 02 hours. The putschists raided the state-run broadcaster, TRT, and forced at gunpoint an announcer to read out the pirate declaration they penned, a method also implemented in the previous military coups in Turkey. Pursuant to the reading out of the pirate declaration, the commanders of the Navy, the First Army, the Third Army Corps, the Special Forces, and the Gendarmerie Operations Department head issued a statement renouncing it. 37 hours. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan called on the people to take to the streets to give backing to the government. In a statement he made to CNN Türk via FaceTime, Erdogan referred to the coup attempt as an uprising by a small minority within the military.
Milletimizi illerimizin meydanlarına davet ediyorum, havalimanlarına davet ediyorum ve milletçe meydanlarda, havalimanında toplanalım ve bunların o azınlık grubu tanklarıyla, toplarıyla gelsinler, ne yapacaklarsa halka orada yapsınlar. Halkın gücünün üstünde bir güç ben tanımadım bugüne kadar.
The hotel President Erdogan was staying at the coast in Marmaris was strafed by warplanes and it was besieged by about 50 soldiers.
Bir an önce yaptıkları hatayı, yaptıkları bu büyük yanlışı farkına varsınlar. Kendilerine kim bu yönde talimat veriyorsa bu talimatlarını asla dinlemesinler.
Not heeding the calls made on television for the putschists to return to their barracks, the rebel soldiers flying Skorsky helicopter gunships hit the Truksat satellite station in a bid to disrupt the public's access to getting informed. 01:40 hours. Appeals were made on social media and from mosques and non-governmental organizations, as well as by those segments of society with common sense, for everyone to turn out in protest against the coup plotters. Some of the soldiers opened fire on civilians who were trying to cross the Bosphorus Bridge, causing widespread carnage. 0250 hours. F-16s and military helicopters started striking the Turkish Grand National Assembly. 4 bombs landed throughout the night on the premises of Parliament, sending deputies and members of the press to the bunkers in panic. 0323 hours. The Doğan Media Group headquarters was stormed by soldiers. The coup plotters also had the CNN Turk channel go off-air. 0407 hours. Addressing throngs of people who were at Atatürk Airport to welcome him, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said there was no power above that of the national will, and the coup plotters' move is an uprising, an act of treason against the state. 0626 hours. The F-16s, commandeered by putschists, bombed the presidential compound and the surroundings, killing dozens of people. The tanks run by coup plotters ran over people and crushed vehicles in Ankara's Kızılay Square, perpetrating unprecedented atrocities. Chief of the General Staff, General Hulusi Akar, and some army commanders were understood to have been overpowered by their close army commanders. 0642 hours. The soldiers involved in the attempted coup, who took over the Bosphorus Bridge, buckled in the face of strong resistance by the police and the people, turning themselves over to the pro-government police forces, who, in a rare show of courage, protected the soldiers who tried to kill them. The Bosphorus Bridge, blocked off by tanks throughout the night, opened to traffic in the wake of the coup plotters' surrender. 0817 hours. About 200 people were taken into custody in the operation, which targeted the Gendarmerie Command. The Kocaeli Republican Prosecutor's Office said 36 putschists were remanded in custody and 2 admirals, abducted by the soldiers involved in the failed coup, were rescued by the police. Chief of the General Staff, Hulusi Akar, and the President's Secretary General, Fahri Kasırga, were also rescued. 1101 hours. Acting Chief of the General Staff, General Ümit Dündar, said the President, the Prime Minister, ministers, and the Turkish Grand National Assembly, in full solidarity with the Turkish armed forces and demonstrating they are squarely on the side of democracy and the rule of law, aborted this coup. 1210 hours. A no-fly zone was proclaimed over the Marmara region, including Istanbul, a sign of the threat still being out there. 1321 hours. The Central Intelligence said the systematic operation was over and it proceeded to spot operations. 1330 hours. A Turkish military helicopter with 8 putschists on board fled to Greece seeking political asylum. Turkey demanded the extradition of the officers. 1425 hours. 2,475 judges ascertained to have acted in cohorts with the coup plotters, were removed from their posts. Alparslan Altan, a member of the Constitutional Court, was also taken into custody. 17 hours. The Turkish Grand National Assembly held an extraordinary session under Speaker Ismail Kahraman with the participation of 4 parties. Prime Minister Binali Yıldırım said all 4 parties stood up to the coup and qualified that day as the beginning of a new process. 1810 hours. Second Army Commander General Adem Huduti, Second Army Staff Commander and the Malatya Garrison Commander Major General Avni Angun were taken into custody as a result of a preliminary investigation. The former commander of the Air Force, General Akın Öztürk, was remanded in custody at the 4th Jet Base Command in Ankara's Kazan Township, where the other officers involved in the failed coup also laid down their arms and surrendered. The commander of the 3rd Army Corps, General Erdal Öztürk, was also taken into custody. Gendarmerie Commander Galip Mendi, taken hostage by the coup plotters, was also rescued.
Sizlerin destansı mücadelenizi
21:35 hours. Colonel Erhan Baltacıoğlu, taken into custody after the coup was quashed, was arrested, and the Kayseri police helped the capture in Istanbul of Brigadier General Cemal Akyıldız. Or whatever name you give to it, Turkish people, from the village headmen to the intellectuals, academics, and all urban elements, who brave bullets and to even be crushed by military tanks, squarely demonstrated once again their faith in democracy. The chain of command in the military has renounced it from the very beginning, and the majority of army members have taken a firm stand against the faction of traitors. There are investigations being conducted with great attention and conscientiousness on the basis of constitutional and legal dictates about those involved in the aborted coup. The Turkish people, anchored in courage, acumen and dignity, have been the primary force to foil the coup by embracing their country and democracy. Having converged in the common denominator of the country, democracy and freedom, they have written a legend of democracy.